Good afternoon. I was going to say warm afternoon, but it's nothing warm out here today from the Mona Shores Stadium. Here we are breaking in the spring season of sports with lacrosse. My name is Joe Kanukin, and we're a skeleton crew today, but we have a good, strong crew. Got Kim and Kodas up on the eye in the sky, as you guys see him working the camera right now, myself, and filling in for pretty much everybody else. This is a pretty big deal for you, Mr. Eric Carlson. Thanks for joining us today, Eric.
Pleasure to be here. I'm glad you get to sit in the box and not out on the bleachers.
Yeah, you'd be here anyway because of Mr. Nana out there, but this is your third season, I think, helping us out with lacrosse whenever we broadcast here, so it's nice having somebody that knows just a little bit more about the sport than what we do in the box with us. So, thanks again for joining us here.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad you mentioned a little bit more because that's probably all it is.
Well, it's more than us. So, hopefully, the fans out there will enjoy it. And as we go forward, we'll take advantage of any resource that you can give us. But yes, here we are. We, Sailor Nation Sports Network, is opening up our season. But the boys opened up their season Thursday. Correct?
Thursday night.
Thursday night, and it was supposed to be home, correct?
Correct.
Ended up going to Zealand.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, for the turf reasons.
Yeah.
Conditions.
And you were there. They came out of there with a win, so they start off strong this season.
Yeah, they played a good game. They came out of the win. Final score was 9-6. Great weather there. It was snowing throughout the whole game.
Yeah, so a couple of games worth of snow. I mentioned to Todd when we first got here to set up. I said, this isn't quite the weather we were hoping. Certainly was what we were anticipating. He says, college, they start in February. And you mentioned, of course they do, but most of them are inside or they're down south where it's not doing this kind of stuff. But
yeah, so we're prepping them for college. We're helping them out.
That's right. We're getting them. And then any of the football players, going deep into the playoffs, you have a chance of playing it. So it's kind of a mixed bag of benefits out of this. So, but here we are, and today we face off against Grand Rapids Christian. The JV game finished up just a little bit ago, and I know that they won. Our Mona Shore Sailors won the JV game. I don't remember what the final score was because I was too busy setting up.
14-2, I believe.
I believe it was something to that effect, 14-2. And the Sailors senior varsity team is going to hope for a similar outcome here today. We got about a minute and a half before we get to start time. We'll start off with the national anthem, of course, and then we'll start getting this game underway. But in the meantime, let's talk a little bit about what we've got coming up here. We're excited, very excited about this spring sport season. We've laid out quite a schedule for you guys. If you're not a member of Sailor Nation Sports Network yet, on Facebook, you should. That's where most of our information goes, and we do a lot of our broadcasts live here on YouTube. But this, we open up today, the boys lacrosse. Our next broadcast will also be boys lacrosse against East Kentwood on April 12th, followed up right with the girls lacrosse on the 13th of April versus Jenison. April 18th, we're going to attempt. I say attempt because we've got to work out some logistics. I got to get with athletic director Conrad and see what we can do for girls tennis, perhaps, and how we might be able to cover that. But again, we're working on that. We may be doing boys golf as well. The Boys OK Green Jamboree on the 21st. We're going to shoot for that to see what we can do. And then on the 23rd, boys baseball doubleheader. This is going to be pretty special. We're going to be going over to Lake Michigan Credit Union Ballpark where the Whitecaps play. They were going to be doing a doubleheader against Granville, and that would be fantastic to enjoy. So we're getting ready to do the national anthem here in just a few moments, so I hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll be quiet while it plays. And as always, with the playing of the national anthem comes the beginning of the game, following right afterwards. So, Eric, what do we expect out of this Sailors lacrosse team this year? What's our anticipation? Improvements from last year? Last year was a pretty big improvement from the couple of years before that. You're seeing that development. Are we expected to see a little bit more of that this year?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's, being a newer program, last year was a great team, and this year we're looking to take a step forward. Got a lot of guys that have been playing lacrosse for quite some time, so we'll definitely compete and make a good run.
Well, we're looking forward to it, and again, like we'd mentioned, we are looking forward to getting this spring season kicked off for Sailor Nation Sports Network. Again, we started mentioning a lot of the spring sports that we'll be covering, and there are more even beyond that. I just happened to quit so we could get started on what's right in front of us here. So, again, very snowy, very cold beginning to our broadcast season here. I didn't just realize that you don't have the greatest view of that field right in front of you.
I'm at Old Tiger Stadium.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
I paid $4 for the seat.
It's probably $4 too much. I mean, good stuff.
Well, the good news is probably the weather's only going to get better from here.
It can only get better from here, honestly. I mean, we are at the end of winter, first part of spring. We expect this kind of stuff as Michiganders for sure, but I'll tell you, we got spoiled at the beginning of March with all that nice weather that we had. I was able to get a few things done outside my yard and that kind of stuff, so nice to have that already preset and done. So the teams meet at center field, getting ready to little handshake there of the teams. Mentioned some of the people here in the booth. This looks like it's a little bit new compared to last year. And you can tell, obviously, too, looking down on the field, there's not much to be able to discern that ball from the snow as well. So picking up that ball is going to be a little bit difficult for us on the camera.
It looks like they're using a yellow ball.
It is yellow, obviously, but like even from maybe down on the field, it's a little bit different. But even from this angle, it's hard to tell a major difference between that ball and the snow.
Andrew Grimm's going to do the face-off for us.
And finally a win there. Grand Rapids Christian gets the face-off. Ooh, that was straight on. It's a blindside.
And they got a late flag out there. Probably going to be an unnecessary roughness.
I thought it was very much unintentional, quite honestly. Let's take a look on the instant replay. Ooh, that was straight on. Let's take a look. Ooh, that was straight on. It's a blindside.
And they got a late flag out there. Probably.
Well, first and foremost, we wish that or hope for nothing but minor scuffle injuries there. A player from Grand Rapids Christian is still down on the field. He did take a pretty good hit there. It was kind of blindside. They were both going for the ball at the time, and he never knew that the Shores player was across from him coming into that. I don't think so.
And the cold weather doesn't help.
Nope, it does not. Looks like it is going to be a penalty against the Sailors. It'll be an unnecessary roughness for 1 minute. Now, explain to the viewers here, Eric, about how this works now. With the penalty, it's a kind of essentially like a penalty kill in hockey, correct? Where they're down one person.
We'll be man down on the defensive side. As you'd see Landon down there taking a knee, so he'll have to be there for 1 minute.
And is it similar as if Grand Rapids Christian is to score, then they get the person out of the penalty box early?
Yes, on most of them. There's some, just like in hockey, that some are non-releasable, but this one would be releasable.
Okay. How do you know when one is non-releasable or not? Do they make that announcement?
The refs will tell you.
Okay. Sailors moving the ball down the field. And again, another thing that's difficult to see is a lot of the field markings. You have the center field and the zone markings and whatnot, but goalie boxes or goalie circles, I should say, a little bit difficult to see.
Mm-hmm.
we are underway. 10:54 ticking down 0-0. Sailors against Grand Rapids Christian Eagles.
Ball stayed in bounds.
It did. I tell you, that can be a help or a hindrance with that snow out there. It certainly is slowing the ground movement down considerably. So,
absolutely, it's a big difference between going from turf to actual natural grass. Is for those ground balls, turf, less friction kinds of ball bounces away from you.
Boy, we talked earlier before we came on. This field would not have been used today if we weren't anticipating the new turf at the end of this season. You can already see the wear on where the goalies are at right now. It's intentional. All right, I had to step away there and just realized I hadn't plugged the computer in, and you guys would have enjoyed a blank broadcast there for a little bit if that would have gone down. Still 0-0 here, 9:04 ticking down. Sailors down in the Grand Rapids Christian zone coming out again here. Now, how does it work as far as, is it similar to hockey with the red line and blue lines? Is that kind of what we're looking at here?
Well, yes and no. We have the box that you got to get in there, they call it the touch, or you'll get a turnover if you don't get your touch within 10 seconds of crossing the half 50-yard line.
Okay.
But there's not really an offsides if you say like that you do in hockey with the lines.
I'd like to thank all those that are joining us here from this blustery cold day. Noontime here at Sailor Stadium as the boys varsity lacrosse team takes on Grand Rapids Christian. Still 0-0, 8:06.
Yeah, Grand Rapids Christian, just nice defensive stand there. Created a turnover.
And there was a couple of opportunities for the Sailors in there, but they couldn't convert over. Good defense, like you just mentioned, and they spent a lot of time down in that zone as well. So 0-0 as we continue to go forward.
Missed shot by Nana.
I remember, I think it was the second game that we covered last year, and I don't remember specifically who they were playing against, but it was an offensive slaughter by the Sailors. I can't recall which game it was, but they just kept scoring over and over and over and over again. And really, honestly, it's kind of nice to come out and see some competition here. And this is not going to be a pushover opportunity for the Sailors at all. I think it's a great test to continue to move forward in their progression as a team. Anytime that they come across a team that's going to give them a challenge. So 7:45 left here in the first quarter. So, again, we talked about the growth that this team was last year and the success that they had. Was that kind of a surprise that it was that much of a growth?
I don't think it's much of a surprise because a lot of these, like I said earlier, a lot of these guys have now been playing some time, and we knew that this group of juniors and seniors were going to be pretty competitive. We just had to get through those first couple of years, which we expected with any kind of like building a program or rebuilding, if you will. So I don't think it came as a surprise anyway. We kind of expected it.
Sure.
All the work that the coaches and players put in,
and that development. How low does the program go now as far as low being? What grade levels are you starting to see lacrosse? Is it in the middle school now, do you know of?
They have it as a club sport for Southside. So
Okay.
they do have middle schoolers, and it goes as low down as to, I believe, third graders, even maybe even younger. I can't recall off the top of my head how early they start, but yeah, they have a cross or a stick in their hand at a really young age.
Good. Is that pretty successful down there as far as the turnout for it and everything else?
Oh yeah, the numbers are up there. A lot of kids out there playing. It's becoming a really popular sport in the area.
Good. Good to hear. And there's a Sailor goal. So the Sailors finally get on the board. That puts them up 1-0 against the Eagles here at home.
They had a flag down, but I believe it's going to be waved off.
That would be indicative of the fact that it was against the Eagles, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So we have Benedict taking the face off for the Sailors. Possession by the Sailors.
So at 7:27 left, the Sailors are on the board 1-0 here against the Eagles of Grand Rapids Christian. What do we know about, I think you had mentioned Grand Rapids Christian in their first game?
They played Comstock Park and came away with the win. I'm not sure on the score, but they did come away with the win last week. I think they played on Thursday also.
Do we know traditionally, does Grand Rapids Christian have a pretty strong lacrosse team?
I don't know about tradition. I know they struggled a little bit last year.
Another team that's probably in the development phase of their program and that kind of stuff. Who would be probably the oldest or the longest standing team in the West Michigan area, or maybe even in this conference?
That is a really good question.
Maybe we should ask athletic director Conrad. Who's the team with the longest team that's been around in West Michigan? East Grand Rapids.
Okay.
Still, as a whole, West Michigan lacrosse is probably pretty young, and the last probably 5 to 10 years really has taken off as a sport at the high school level.
Yeah, around here, Reese Puffer had a varsity program for some time, and then now Shores are in there. I think this is their fourth season.
I bet you it's got fourth or fifth. And was it club level before that?
No, it all started all at the same time.
Okay.
Prior to that, the kids around here, if they wanted to play at a younger level, would have to go over to play for Northside, which is Reese Puffer's
sure. Now,
youth program.
And maybe this is a question for athletic director Conrad as well. I notice everybody on here is from Mona Shores. Is this still considered a co-op? Okay.
Yeah, our JV has some other schools involved.
Not according to the roster here. So JV has quite a few people from other schools, but still considered a co-op. Southside Lacrosse is what it has been most commonly referred to as for years.
For a youth program, yep.
Yeah, for the youth program. And again, that was a spin-off once there was enough people from the Northside Lacrosse, correct?
Right.
Which is it's a nice rivalry. I know in a few Saturdays coming up here, you guys kind of have that jamboree, if you will.
Yep. All day lacrosse between the two programs.
Yep.
Yep. It's good time,
stuff.
fun for the kids.
Yep. Sailors keeping it down in the Grand Rapids Christian.
A score for sure.
Another there, and it's exactly what they do when they keep it in there that long. It's hard to stop, not keep a goal out with that much play.
Brayton Conrad with the score for sure.
Another there, and it's exactly what they do when they keep it in there that long. It's hard to stop, not keep a goal out with that much play. So the success continue on as they start the season Thursday. What was the score of that game?
9-6.
9-6.
Yeah, it was good game ball. I shouldn't say everybody scored, but a lot of guys got involved with the scoring.
Anytime you have 9 goals in a game, that's a pretty successful.
Well, lacrosse is a high-scoring sport.
Sure.
So 9 goals is.
Sailors scored by number 13, Brayton Conrad. That goal was scored at 4:20 remaining in the first quarter. 13 Conrad, 4:20 remaining in the first quarter.
Christian gained possession.
Those making your way over. We did try the stream a little bit on the Facebook page, but we're not on the actual Wi-Fi here. The booth is shut off, so we have to work off of the hotspot. And sometimes when we're doing that, we don't have enough bandwidth to send it to both. So if you're making your way over from the Facebook page, that would be why we shut that off. So trying to get a message out to everybody on there to let them know where we're at. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us here. Anybody from Grand Rapids Christian that happens to be watching, welcome aboard. So far, you guys have a fantastic team to Sailor Stadium. Is probably not surprised. He's sitting up here helping with the scoreboard running today with Papa T, Paul Tiefenthal. The hockey representatives also helping out with lacrosse. A lot of sharing across sports with various different parents and teams of assistants and all that kind of stuff. It's fun to see all that. So penalty kill for the Sailors.
Christian with the turnover.
Now, is it still considered a short-handed goal if you score on the penalty kill? Is that's referred to similarly? Yeah. 3 years into this, I'm starting to assimilate the stuff that works from hockey into lacrosse and not trying to understand the rest of it that doesn't. So, Grand Rapids Christian, a little push to the goal, but unable to get it in. There's still a lot of good defense for the Sailors out there. A couple of good saves by their goalie.
Actually, on both sides, we're playing pretty good defense. And that's the end of the first.
And so here we are, end of the first quarter, 3-0. Your Sailors are comfortable. Well, I shouldn't say comfortably. It's too early to say comfortably. But for the first quarter, that was a great start. We had a short break here, and we'll be getting started soon with the second quarter.
Blended Furniture Market thanks you, Mona Shore Sailors, for your support. Have a fantastic game. Try your best and make a difference. Come shop with us down the road at Blended Furniture Market. Visit us on Facebook and Instagram. Go Sailors!
And we are back here, Sailor Stadium. Your Sailors going into the second quarter of the varsity lacrosse against Grand Rapids Christian. And they're doing so with a 3-0 lead. It was a great start to this snowy day out here on the Sailors field. What do we what do we see so far, Eric? Is pretty expected from the Sailors as well as the Grand Rapids Christian?
Yeah, I think it's what we kind of predicted. I think Shores overall is the better team, and they're playing very competitive. Like the beginning of the first quarter, throughout the first quarter, it's a really good defensive game. Shores happened to get 3 goals out of it, but 3 goals can lead can flip-flop real quick.
Yes,
in
lacrosse, yeah, it could be very, very quick. As a goalie, I think of a goalie in hockey, and they've got a lot more padding, and really the goalie has the stick just like anybody else, a little bit different, wider mitt on it, but other than that,
they have a chest protector usually they wear, and some of them will choose to wear guards on their legs.
Sure. And rightly so. I can understand that with the ball coming in at 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, I don't want to be in goal, and we're lucky. Parker is a great goalie. Same with hockey. It's hard to find kids that want a ball or a puck coming at them at 90 miles an hour, yeah. And to get in between that. Hey, I want to do that. Not many people volunteer for that.
It takes a special someone to be that person to set themselves up with that type of punishment.
Yep, I'm ducking.
With that. I would love, I think one of these days I'm going to. And we are back now. Apologize for that. For some reason, we keep losing our internet connection here.
It's because of the snow.
Probably the snow, yes. While you were gone, the Sailors added 1 more to the the scoreboard there. 11-11 left, second quarter, 4-0. Your Sailors are up.
Yeah, the goal was by Brayton Conrad. That would be his 3rd goal of the contest. And Benedict gains possession for Shores.
Braden, that's 3 now for him, correct?
That's correct, yep.
Yep. Lots of activity down in the Grand Rapids Christian end. Now they switch ends each quarter, correct?
Yep, that's correct.
All right. Sailor with a big shot across. It looked like it was a nice check across the chest or the arm there.
Yeah. Conrad took a shot there.
Shaking it off. So this is kind of just a reset. Is this once they determine possession, do they have to take that from wherever the
in the general vicinity up, and
okay,
defense has to give the space.
Back down in the Sailors zone, Grand Rapids Christian. It's been a little bit since they've had any good shots on goal. Not since
the most of
the first quarter.
Been on Christian's zone for a majority of the second quarter.
9:27 left in the second quarter. Sailors up 4-0. Grand Rapids Christian looking for position. Sailors put up great defense, keeping them out of the shooting lanes. How much body? I mean, obviously that's a lot of checking with the stick and everything else. What ends up ultimately be considering excessive?
Well, depending on what we're talking about the defensive side, it's like when you have like with the slashing, you're not allowed to hit on the hands or on the cross, and then like blatant complete extension with your cross and lay them out for the and the unnecessary roughness on the offensive side. Usually, when that you can get a ward, which is basically push the guy off of you.
Is that a timeout? Looks like a timeout. All right. Well, with that timeout, we'll run a couple of commercials of our own. This is Sailor Nation Sports Network. We'll be right back.
From truck beds to bed beds, we've got your home in auto cover. Combine your home and auto with Lake Michigan Insurance Agency, and you could save $650. That's like 325 gallons of gas, or 21 sets of comfy sheets. So, trust our experts to find the perfect amount of coverage for you, making sure you're covered when you need it and how you need it. We shop a variety of insurance providers, industry leaders like Citizens and Frankenmuth Insurance, to make sure you get the highest quality coverage at the lowest possible rate. In Muskegon County, trust Ryan Rozicki to start a quote for you today. Visit Ryan at our Norton Avenue office in the Park Place Shopping Center near Goodwill and Pikes and Courts Restaurant, or visit lmcu.org/insurance to get started.
And we are back. Sailors up 4-0 after a timeout. 8:33 left, second quarter. Looks like this is going to start down in the Grand Rapids Christian zone. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank everybody for joining us here, Sailor Nation Sports Network, our inaugural kickoff of the spring athletics competitions. For us, obviously, there's been a couple of other contests. Girls soccer was canceled for today. Obviously, I believe they were going to be home, but on the field it would have been too much damage. We mentioned earlier that this game more than likely would have been postponed or delayed because of the field conditions, but considering at the end of this season we're going to be seeing turf being put in, they weren't too worried about it getting all torn to pieces. So the game must go on, snow or not.
Yeah, it becomes difficult for the athletic directors to reschedule these.
Sure.
If they can play them, they're going to play them.
Right. And that, obviously with this field not going to be here for next year, it gives them a little more latitude to be able to play those games. So, but I'll tell you what, the field in any other day would be very well taken care of. The Bard brothers do the groundskeeping for all of the fields. They do a fantastic job of keeping up the grounds around here. I'll tell you, I would go back to the football playoffs that were in January, and we were out here on this field. I can't believe how good January expected to be able to do that. And quite frankly, you wouldn't have expected this much snow to be on the ground for a lacrosse game either. But
right. Yeah, that COVID year, the field actually had time to rest because they had to take a break from sports. That definitely helped.
Sure did.
That's a tough thing with football in the fall and 3 different levels playing on a football field. It's hard to keep the turf in good shape.
It will be exciting with a brand new turf, the updated type of turf, brand new here. All that we're going to be able to see happen on this field is going to be pretty fantastic.
Got a flag down.
And it would be a flag on the Sailors, right? Because I believe we had it, correct?
Yep.
Waiting to see here exactly what the call is.
Still some discussion.
Yeah. And the decision here coming in.
It looks like the ref is going to explain to Coach Merle what the call is. Looks like Steven Koziak's going to be serving the penalty.
What's that? I didn't. Yeah, I'm good. So the Sailors are going to be on the penalty kill once again. And now, is that a 1 minute?
I think this one's a 30-second.
So we have 30 seconds, 1 minute, and 2
minutes. Yep.
Correct? Okay. Depending on the severity of the infraction, that kind of a thing.
Yep.
6:52 left. Sailors up 4-0 against the Eagles of Grand Rapids Christian.
Yep. Got a timeout by Grand Rapids.
So obviously they're probably taking that timeout to plan their power play opportunity. Again, the Eagles looking to try to get on the board here. In the meantime, we're going to take a quick break as well, and we'll be right back after this timeout. Trophy House is your #1 source for fan gear, corporate and team sales, trophies, awards, and more. Visit them in their new showroom, right next door from their old showroom on Henry Street. If it can be logoed, they're your resource. Your brand is their business.
Looking to buy or sell? Look no further than our broadcast booth sponsor, John Vandervelde at Nexus Realty. Give him a call at 231-759-3634 or go see him at 880 West Broadway Avenue in Muskegon. Nexus Realty, team-based real estate professionals.
And we are back here, finishing up that timeout. Sailors will be on the penalty kill as Grand Rapids Christian looking still to get on the board, down 4-0. 6:52 left in the second quarter. Yeah, really, obviously not knowing lacrosse like you or maybe Todd and certainly the coaches here, it looks like it's been a pretty solid game for the Sailors so far. The defense has been well. They're moving the ball down there. They're getting goals, shots on goals. Pretty good stops for our keepers. What do you say at halftime at this point? Is there much to work on that you can see?
No, I think you just talking points of like we're playing really good defense or moving the ball around. We could always do a little better job moving that ball around. But it's been we're not creating unnecessary penalties. We turned the ball over a few times, but with this weather, I mean, that's probably going to be expected.
Sure. And it's not excessively that they're turning it over.
No,
most of the time has been spent in the Grand Rapids Christians.
I was here for the scrimmage last weekend, and it's been great improvement from game 1 to game 2 for the boys.
Good to hear. Lots of ball movement from Grand Rapids Christian down there in the Sailor zone, but I haven't seen a ton of shots on goals. I'm surprised that they're not at least getting something on net and maybe looking for some type of a rebound and cleaning it up.
Yeah, they're not getting those alleys they want.
Yeah. Sailors bringing it down the field relatively quick, looking for a quick shot. Nice save by the goalkeeper. Oh, 5:44. Out of bounds behind Grand Rapids Christian.
Yeah, great defensive play by Shores there to intercept the ball from the goalie.
Oh, pass out in front.
Yeah, the pass from Anna got batted down. Shores keeps possession.
There's some positioning skills that are obviously employed when you're going after a ball like that on the ground. It's boxing out kind of a thing.
Yeah, that's exactly. You're going to hear the coaches always yell boxing out. They want to get the space between the defender and the ball, and you want to be in between the ball and that defender. So, yeah, just like basketball.
And I was just going to say, a lot of this is, do you see anything like, picks and that kind of thing? Are they allowed in this as you're coming across?
Yeah, because you see them running different types of plays. Yeah, there's picks involved. Just like basketball, you can't be moving. You got to be both feet planted.
Goalie passes it up to the offensive players, trying to move it forward. Nice defensive turnover, forced turnover there by the Sailors.
Shores gains possession. Christian was close on not getting their touch, so there'll probably been a turnover regardless. Now here's where you want to try to force them out of bounds.
Well, I think they just forced the ball out. They knocked it loose and it went out. Sailors take possession in the out of bounds. 4:14 left here in the second quarter. 4-0 Sailors up against the Eagles. We're thankful for Mr. Eric Carlson coming to fill in for Mr. Nick Davros. We would have had you here anyway because neither one of us know enough to talk about lacrosse. But it's glad to have you here in the booth, and also glad to have Mr. Kim Kotis, eye in the sky, up on the top of the press box, giving you the coverage.
Yeah, he drew the short straw. I offered to be up there for him today, but he declined.
Yeah, he likes it whether it's warm or cold to be up there. Better him than me some days. I'll tell you, I feel bad the weather that he's got to sit in up there, but he enjoys the love of it, the being able to broadcast it. So.
Score by Nana.
Another score.
Yeah, he created the turnover and score by Nana.
Another score. Sailors continuing to add to their score here in the first half.
basketball in the second half.
3:45 left here in the second quarter. Well, the conditions of the field and the weather are not the greatest. The play so far has been pretty good.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the footing is actually holding up quite well for the players. I thought I'd see a little bit more slide around, but I haven't
seen a ton.
that.
Either side, nobody's really. It must be that it's not as slippery as what we would think it would be out there, I guess. And the field, that means, must be holding up too, because a lot of times that sliding might be the grass just letting loose as well, even if it grabs.
And going to be a turnover.
Kevin, if you could take a look at the scoreboard out there and the screen that is now protecting that. One of the things that they realized just in front of that to the left, you guys can see the screen out there. That's specifically for lacrosse and the protection of that screen. Obviously, we talked about that ball moving at 80 miles an hour. It would be pretty detrimental to that electronics over there to take a direct hit.
Yeah, I believe they call it the Jake Nana net. I think he's like the only one that's ever hit the scoreboard.
The Jake Nana net, yes. Sailors keeping it down in the Grand Rapids Christian zone. Sailors killing off some second quarter clock here, it looks like. Nice 5-0 lead. Obviously, a good defense is certainly avoiding any offensive opportunities for Grand Rapids Christian, so we'll take it. Nice take. Flag on the play.
Yeah, I don't know what that. I'm going to guess they're going to get unnecessary roughness, or it could be offsides. They usually don't throw the flag for offsides, so I'm going to guess it's unnecessary roughness.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to be down 2 now, correct? Is that 24 for a push? Nope, sorry. That's what it is. 24 for a push. That would be Mr. Baker.
Mr. Baker, yep. He's going to serve 30 seconds. So we'll be man down.
Another power play opportunity for Grand Rapids Christian. They have not been able to capitalize yet, showing the strength of the Sailors' defense. 5-0, second quarter, 2 minutes and ticking down.
One of Shores penalty on number 24, Andy Baker. There's 30 seconds for a push. It's Baker, 30 seconds for a push.
Grand Rapids moving the ball again at this point. Even from that distance, now there's a shot opportunity. Good save by
good save by Parker.
Now just looking at the use of that, Parker came down on that stick, and he intentionally is looking to get that stick out of the other person's hand. Correct? Is that what it is? Is that a pretty much a learned defensive tactic?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, knock the stick out of their hand to get the turnover. And
sure. Another turnover by the Eagles.
The kids would call it a yard sale.
Nice pass out. Looking for an opportunity. Sailors unable to capitalize there. Turn it over to Eagles. 1:06 left, almost into the last minute of the first half. 5-0 Sailors. Grand Rapids, again, looking to get something set up. There hasn't been a lot of rhythm down on the offensive side for Grand Rapids Christian. They get some passing around, but again, at some point, do you start taking those long shots and try to get something, or do you still look for clear shooting?
I think you're still just trying to run the plays and create that space and find that alley to get that shot off. Because if you don't have the shot, you're probably just going to turn the ball over.
Shot on goal, wide break.
Those are those things at halftime. You make some of those adjustments or things that aren't working for you.
Out of bounds, 31 seconds left, second quarter. Midfield. Fighting for possession, still anybody's. It goes to the Sailors. looking for a touch. Oh, there's a flag on the play. It's going to go against Grand Rapids Christian, it looks like. Sailors continue to play, and that one goes out of bounds. So let's see what that flag is with 5 seconds left here in the second quarter. That one's going to go against Grand Rapids Christian. We'll see what it is. Looks like Sailors are clear of their the penalty. 15 for slashing, 1 minute, so that'll carry over into the third quarter. 55 seconds of that. Sailors will be up on a penalty, or a power play, rather. So, again, if you're Merle going into halftime on this, what kind of discussions are you having with your players?
You just talk about the good points. That, like I said, you're moving the ball around, doing good, getting everybody involved, keeping your head game. Let's try to limit our turnovers. I think Shores is overall, but I think they're playing a good game. Just keep your head and keep doing what we're doing and keep being executing. I think they'll be just fine.
And if you're Grand Rapids Christian, how do you keep them in this game? I mean, 5-0 is not much. You could make that up in a couple minutes. What do you do to get them the shots? What adjustments do you make for Grand Rapids Christian?
Yeah, right. Yeah, you just tell them it's only 5 minutes. It's not hard. We can do that. No problem. And you just go through your plays and make your adjustments. What things we can do a little differently to get those lanes open, to get the guy free to get those clear shots on goal.
You think of baseball, you think of some other sports where you're down 5 scores. It's not like that. You're still in that game at five down, especially if you're playing against a stout team. If you're going in a half and it's only been 5 goals, that means you're still in this game. You have an opportunity. So, well, with that being said, they're going to make their halftime adjustments. We're going to take a halftime break, and we'll see you in just a few minutes. So go get your refreshments, take a break, and we'll be right back.
Blended Furniture Market thanks you, Mona Shore Sailors, for your support. Have a fantastic game. Try your best and make a difference. Come shop with us down the road at Blended Furniture Market. Visit us on Facebook and Instagram. Go Sailors!
From truck beds to bed beds, we've got your home and auto covered. Combine your home and auto with Lake Michigan Insurance Agency, and you could save $650. That's like 325 gallons of gas, or 21 sets of comfy sheets. So, trust our experts to find the perfect amount of coverage for you, making sure you're covered when you need it and how you need it. We shop a variety of insurance providers, industry leaders like Citizens and Frankenmuth Insurance, to make sure you get the highest quality coverage at the lowest possible rate. In Muskegon County, trust Ryan Rozicki to start a quote for you today. Visit Ryan at our Norton Avenue office in the Park Place Shopping Center near Goodwill and Pites and Courts Restaurant, or visit lmcu.org/insurance to get started.
Looking to buy or sell? Look no further than our broadcast booth sponsor, John Vandervelde at Nexus Realty. Give him a call at 231-759-3634 or go see him at 880 West Broadway Avenue in Muskegon. Nexus Realty, team-based real estate professionals. Trophy House is your #1 source for fan gear, corporate and team sales, trophies, awards, and more. Visit them in their new showroom, right next door from their old showroom on Henry Street. If it can be logoed, they're your resource. Your brand is their business.
And ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again. Sailor Nation Sports Network here live from the Sailor Field, where the boys lacrosse is halfway through their contest against Grand Rapids Christian Eagles. And they're up 5-0. That's a great start for the first half of a very cold and snowy field day. Eric, what do you think? We talked before the half what they were going to talk about in the locker room. Not a lot that we can see, obviously, up here for needs for adjustments. So do you just kind of focus on continuing to play consistently like they have in the first half?
Yeah, continue to fly around, moving the ball around, create your spaces, take open shots.
And as far as Grand Rapids Christian, they're just looking to get on the board. They should, if they can break through that, maybe it's an opportunity for them to close that gap on 5 goals. But as we talked about, that lead can deteriorate very fast in lacrosse.
Absolutely. Things can flip-flop. Momentum can change really quick.
As we get ready to begin here, I get the pleasure of sitting next to Coach K over here, Matt Koziak. He's trying to run the scoreboard, the electronics, and he looks confused. And I hope he's not looking to me because I don't know anything about this program. I have enough to learn with my own stuff. I don't know anything on that one. All right, well, he's looking to clear that scoreboard so they can see it over there. I know that we have got the timer going at least.
Score for Shores.
Score for Shores on the board. Take a look on that. All right, well, he's looking to clear that scoreboard so they can see it over there. I know that we have got the timer going at least.
Score for Shores.
Score for Shores on the board.
Out there right outside the goal.
There was nobody around him on that one. I almost lost sight of him, I guess. So opening up the second half here with a goal. Sailors up 6-0. Great way to open it up. And again, that hole continues to grow deeper for the Eagles.
Andrew Grimm going to take the face-off for us.
Face-off is very unique in lacrosse compared to anything else, where they kind of, I see that they look for positioning. Obviously, the referees sitting there. What are they looking for?
Yeah, well, the guys are trying to put the ball between their heads, and they're trying to clamp that ball and get it out of there.
Mm-hmm. But as far as like what the referees are setting them there, they basically set the ball and he's down there looking at something and then steps away. Probably blows the whistle for him to start.
Making sure they don't move, because then they'll get like a false start and be an automatic turnover.
Is there a required positioning that each side has to take? They both have to be flat on the ground.
The crosses, flat on the ground, hands in the ground. Those crosses have to be parallel.
Coach Koziak is dug deep for his technical expertise and finally got the screen fixed over here. So he's looking a lot happier, and the fans are able to see the scoreboard now. So 6-0, 10:55 left here, third quarter. Sailors are up against the Eagles. Sailors again spending a lot of time down in the Eagle zone. The one thing I notice, when the Eagles have the ball, they're moving it kind of around the outside pass. There's a lot more. It almost looks like basketball positioning, if you will, from the Sailors. And maybe it's just that the Eagles haven't gotten to that opportunity yet. But again, Sailors working it in.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of cutting on the Sailor end of things.
Little slide there. Sailors again, not some pressure, but not a lot from Grand Rapids. Oh, goal. I didn't even see that one go in. I don't think anybody saw that one go in.
Terpstra made a great move.
We're going to take a look at it on the Lake Michigan Insurance Instant Replay. And brought it in, just shot it. Yep, sure did.
Yeah,
goal.
Terps right there made a great move on the deep hole and scored. Just how the coach drew it up.
Just how he drew it up. 7-0 now for the Sailors.
Trent Benedict going to take the face off.
Are there certain players on each team that are set to do face-offs? Like, do they have people picked for that?
Yeah, we have 3 guys that do it for us because it's not the easiest thing. As you've heard at the scrimmage Saturday last weekend, all of our face-off guys were unavailable. So against Grand Haven, we lost all face-offs. But Andrew Grimm, Trent Benedict, and J.J. Booz does the face-offs for us.
And do they rotate? Is that kind of how that works, or do they match up based upon who they're facing off with on the face-off?
I don't know. I don't know if the coach actually gets in that depth of scouting the face-offs. But it looks to me as today it's been Trent and Grimm have just kind of been sharing the responsibilities.
Sure. Both teams looking to take possession here. Now, I noticed that there's a certain number of players that have to stay over on the defensive side versus offensive side and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
right?
3 guys have to stay back. So on the offensive side, your attacks right there have to stay behind the center line, and same with the deep holes.
Sailors advancing into the Eagles zone once again. So far, I don't think any shots on goal for the Eagles. Great information from the Eagles coaching staff that were up here reference whether or not a push is a turnover or a penalty. And the penalty comes as if the player has possession of the ball. That would be a penalty, otherwise it's just a turnover.
Did we write that down?
I committed it to memory. Steel trap right here of my mind. Until next year, and I probably won't remember again.
let me get, where's that pen?
Yeah, there you go. Again, lots of time for the Sailors to set up down on the Eagles zone. I'm looking, is there, from a defensive perspective, Eric, what are the Eagles doing? Is it a zone type defense? Is that the kind of thing that you're looking at? Man to man, is that a thing here?
Yeah, most of it will be zoned down with the deep holes. Okay. They have their space that they're in charge of.
And that's pretty common. Is there any other type of like a man to man type of a thing, or?
Not
be
usually
difficult
with the deep
honestly,
holes, but the middies, that can be more of a thing. But I have seen their coaches assign a deep hole to a certain person just to try to shut that person down. I mean, it's not a normal thing, but you do see it.
Sailors, good movement, ball, keep possession, looking to take a shot. There's a goal high side.
Terpstra to Nana. That'll be a hat trick for Nana.
Proud dad up here. Sailors, good movement, ball, keep possession, looking to take a shot. There's a goal high side.
Terpstra to Nana. That'll be a hat trick. Ball move that pass from Terps right to Jacobs. That's perfect. And then I'm sure our viewers are all wondering about the mercy rule.
Yes, that was actually being discussed up here. For those that are, go ahead and let them know what it is.
So in the second half for the mercy rule, the team has to be up by 12, and then it goes to a running clock. Only stops for timeouts and injuries.
Sure. So we've got a few goals before we get to that. 8-0 now. Sailors are up. 7:29 here left in the third quarter. It's been consistent, like all the way through the first half. They're just playing very consistently today, and it's consistently good. Not a lot of errors. Again, not a lot of forced or unforced turnovers. This is pretty good.
For the start of the season, they had the passing and everything else. I mean, as a coach, you're happy right now where your kids are at.
Right, and like a lot of sports, we were talking before the contest even started. Games in early March, or late March rather, early in the season, almost, I don't want to say they don't mean anything, but you're really coming together as a team. You're getting that gameplay speed. You're getting the interaction and the you're developing. Right, it's still that early in the season.
Right, they've only been practicing for 2 weeks.
So this is really kind of the extension of practice, if you will. Even though they do count on your record, obviously. So your great you're greatly fortunate to come away with the wins. But there's a lot of teams that in March you face them again in a playoff or a second time later in the season for whatever reason. It's not going to be that same team.
No, it could be two separate outcomes. And even playing in March, coaches are excited to get to actually play these games because you don't actually get to play these games sometimes before spring break.
Right. But there are a lot of scrimmages. Like, did they got an opportunity? There's another goal. Yep.
Another goal by Nana.
Take a look at that on the Ryan Brzezinski Lake Michigan Insurance Instant Replay again. But there are a lot of scrimmages. Like, did they got an opportunity? There's another goal. Yep.
Another goal by Nana. And yeah, Nana had plenty of time to get that shot off.
Left wide open in front of the net. And I don't know, again, obviously, with as fast as that ball goes from a pass perspective, are we looking at that? I mean, was he left wide open, or is it just moving that fast that he's able to convert it over once he receives that pass?
I probably saw that he was left open. Somebody was out of position.
Sure.
If they were a man down, I mean, obviously that you create that space,
sure.
You create that that mismatch. But
North Shore Sailors goal for his fourth goal of the contest, number 20, Jake Nana.
Forced turnover there by the Sailors.
That's Nana at 6:20 remaining in the third quarter.
Wow, that was a nice nice setup there, but
Pooks to Conrad, and got a turnover here.
Must have been a push.
I'm not sure.
I didn't. So a turnover of some sort.
It's actually hard to actually see sometimes with the refs wearing all black. Their hands are hidden by their jacket.
The Eagles now down in the Sailor zone, looking to get on the board with the ball. Looking to crack inside for a nice shot, but Sailors playing extraordinary defense, keeping them out of those lanes.
Yeah, they're staying on them.
Nice takeaway there. Intercepted that pass. Sailors quickly moving down the field. Oh, pass goes wide and out of bounds. Can kind of come into play into the advantage. Like, you want it sometimes to go out of bounds, even if it's something that I can't remember what it was. I remember, like, I was surprised that the out of bounds, they let the ball roll a lot of times instead of picking it up.
Well, sometimes if it's not a pass, if it's shot, I mean, as long as you're the closest one to the bounds mark, you get to keep the ball.
That's what it was. Yep.
First, it's like if your pass goes out of bounds, it's a turnover.
Sure.
That's one rule that it took me a few games to figure out when I was coaching at the youth level.
And thank you, because that one I hadn't committed to memory last year, but that was it. Was if you're the closest to the ball, then it's your ball to go out. That's good.
Yep, on a shot.
On a shot.
And if it's a pass, then it's automatic turnover.
Sailors working it in. Clear shot up front. It goes in again.
Koziak to Benedict.
Koziak to Benedict for So your Sailors getting ever closer to the mercy rule, now up 10-0, 3:57 in the third quarter. And the last goal was by Benedict, we said, correct?
Yep. Yeah, Koziak to Benedict. We got Grimm taking the face off. Looks like Christian gained possession. No, maybe not. Shores gains possession.
Yep. So now, obviously, 10 is different than 5 if you're Grand Rapids Christian at this point. It's pretty a flag on the play, but waved off the goal. Some
Goals,
penalty of
against
sorts.
Shores.
No goal. As we're saying, you're Grand Rapids Christian. 10 goals is a little bit different than 5. What strategy do you play now as far as you're the Eagles? Do you take more shots to convert over? Is it a little bit different pace that you're looking at now? How does the aggression change on this as far as the shots on goal?
Yeah, now you're looking at, you're starting to, I don't know what the exact word you want to use, but you want to start taking some risks and the sense of urgency.
Sure.
To start getting those open passes, but at the same time, you gotta have those kids. Coaches got to keep coaching them up and tell them to keep their heads in the game, because it is 10 scores, but they're still holding their quarter left.
Well, and that's what I was just going to say. If this would be 3:23 left in the fourth, but again, if you just start hammering those goals and you happen to get a few lucky ones in there, now you start to change that momentum. You're back into this. I mean, again, in just a couple of minutes, you could turn the momentum very quickly.
And then on the opposite, with the Shores, you just want to be moving the ball around, probably having a minimum number of passes before you take the shots.
Burn a little bit of clock, and if I'm guessing, it's probably minimum of 3 passes, because there's a couple of people that could have taken some shots, but they're just
not looking to force anything right now.
2:57 counting down here, third quarter. Sailors working the ball around in the Eagles zone. 10-0. Sailors are up. If you're the Sailors and you're up 10-0 early in the season like this, another shot on goal, it goes wide. You work on fundamentals now. You work on trying to get a little bit of that game speed play and passing and, whatever your plays are. Take advantage of the opportunity. Even if you mess up and you don't get it right and they score, you still got a little bit of a cushion, but it's an opportunity to get those reps in.
Well, it's almost time to, I don't want to use the word, it's time to practice, but
yeah, it would really work on the fundamentals, if you will. Possession remains with the Sailors down in the Eagle zone. Beautiful pass up in front, but goes wide.
Yeah, another thing coach is probably talking to kids about is, you said, it's keeping the fundamentals. Sometimes when you get leads like this, you can get away with doing certain things you can't get away with closer games.
Sure. Yep. And one of the other disadvantages for the Eagles, we talked about a pretty thin roster for Varsity as far as, conditioning and stuff. It requires you to be very well conditioned, because your rotation is not going to be nearly as often to give you that relief.
Yeah, I think we counted 17 on the roster, and one was a scratch. For the defensemen, the attacks, there's not as much running, but for the middies, you got to keep those legs fresh. But their numbers, they're just 3 on, 3 off. That's all they have.
Right.
Which is doable, as long as nobody gets hurt.
The Eagles with possession down in the Sailors zone. Sailors putting on pressure, defensive pressure. It looks like there's going to be a penalty on the Sailors, delayed.
Looks like the penalty might be on Octavio there, number 33.
And we're going to find out here. Oh, not yet. No, another penalty.
There's another one.
2 penalties. The Eagles still have possession, delayed penalty, both. So now, do they go down 2, just as in hockey? They go down 2
after
players?
If that's what the penalties are going to be, yeah, they'll be 2 down. Yes, the penalties just were possession calls, so
okay.
They just got to keep the ball.
Boy, that's interesting, because you see first thing I think anytime I see a ref raise his hand like that, well, this is a delayed penalty of some sort. So, Eagles get possession. Midfield pressure gets it back for the Sailors. 10-0, 19 seconds left, third quarter.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier about the footing not being an issue. You can start noticing guys slipping at center field here where they're taking the face-offs.
Flag on the play. That's going to be a push. And that one's going against the Eagles. So the power play for the Sailors in the last 11 seconds of the third quarter here at Sailor Stadium. .30-second power play for the Sailors, up 10-0 here against the Eagles. These last few minutes of the third quarter, there has been a little less scoring and more action down in the Sailor zone for the Eagles. So, again, they're looking to get on the scoreboard here. And that is the end of the third quarter. So, with 1 quarter left to play here at Sailor Stadium, the Sailors are up comfortably 10-0 against the Eagles. We'll be right back after this quick break. Sailor Nation, we are back here. Thanks for joining us on our cold broadcast here, March 26th with snow. Inaugural spring broadcast for Sailors Athletics here for the boys lacrosse against the Grand Rapids Christian Eagles. Sailors up 10-0 with 12 minutes left in this game, fourth quarter. And it's been a great game for the Sailors so far. It's not unlike the weather.
That's, as a coach, it's the kind of stuff you want to see.
It is. Those just joining us, we've got a skeleton crew, but very functional nonetheless. Kim in the eye in the sky, always on top, providing the great video broadcast for you. Myself, Joe Kanukin, and in the booth with us, filling in for pretty much everybody else, like we've talked about, Mr. Eric Carlson. Thanks for joining us, making this happen with us today.
No, thanks for having me.
You going to start doing lacrosse up and home? You guys have a team?
We would love to have one, but we just don't have the numbers.
No.
Such a small school, it's hard enough to run up
now,
baseball and track. And
do you have a few that go to like the north side lacrosse? Do you have anybody from the Holton area?
Not that I'm aware of. We used to have a few kids that would play in their club program. Mm-hmm. But most of our kids are playing baseball or running track right now.
Now, I mean, are you going to, with all the expertise that you're getting here in broadcast with Sailor Nation Sports, are you going to do some sports broadcasting up there in Holton?
Oh, absolutely. We get everything up and running.
Yeah, nice. Very nice. Well, I'll have to tune in and listen. Guest. We could have Davros come in and fill in, get some guest speaker stuff there. I'm sure that would be entertaining.
We'll flip the table on them.
Yeah. No, actually, he's doing a food truck for church. But
I was going to say, that's the story he told me.
He does have a legitimate reason for not being.
He had his presidential duties of the church.
Yep. We'll give him a slight pass. Although, I think he scheduled this or that after this, so he should have known better. Either way, here we are. And
try working with him. Well, you do work with him.
10-0 here for the Sailors. 10:40 left, counting down fourth quarter. playing well here against Grand Rapids Christian Eagles. Both coming in here a 1-1, I believe. I think they both only have one game. 1-0 rather. Sailors looking pretty good at extending that to a 2-0 start.
Shores was setting something up.
Looks like they're still trying to work on that.
Yeah.
Those that are joining us, any interruptions that you may see, we are working off of the hotspot here today. The Wi-Fi is not working. I know that Athletic Director Conrad was going to be looking at that, making sure for our next broadcast it's up and running. It always works better when we're on the Wi-Fi. Get an opportunity to provide stream to both the YouTube and Facebook at that point, so it's kind of nice. And as many people to watch as possible. So I'm excited to see Holton's program get up and running, the broadcast stuff there. It's been fun being involved with your graduation and stuff the last couple of years, helping out with that.
Yeah, I'm excited to give the kids more opportunities to do something different than what their normal schedule and after-school activities look like.
Are you guys looking at turning it into a pretty big broadcast class and really
Yeah, that's the goal for next year, to actually have a broadcasting class where the students will be doing like the weather and the announcements along with concerts and live sports events, just like Sailor Sports Nation covers.
Perfect. Love to see it happening.
I'm curious to see how your golf broadcast goes, because we do have a golf team.
Sure.
I would love to do that broadcast.
And I will tell you, the only way that is even a thought of a possibility is because of, the support from the Sailor Classic and, like this equipment here. The wireless broadcasting itself is, I think it's close to $10,000 in its own. So without that, that the school doesn't pay for that. That is strictly everything that you see here, everything that everybody enjoys out in the broadcast world. From us, Varsity of businesses and just individuals and groups that have provided the support for us. So
yeah, community definitely supports the kids and other programs.
They do.
They do. It's great seeing that,
and we love being able to be part of that support as well. So, but yes, we're banking on this equipment to even think about giving a broadcast of golf. So. The geographical distances there can prove to be challenging. So we may end up having to focus on a few holes as the golfers come through and give that a little bit of coverage. That'll be.
You guys don't have 18 cameras?
Not yet. We're working up to it. We're slowly working up to it. So. Sailors up 10-0, 8:19 left here, fourth quarter. Down once again in the Eagles zone. Appears as though they're doing a little keep away, clock killing here. Looking to set something up though. Grand Rapids looking to take back possession. Scoots back out, Sailors got it. Next broadcast after this, April 12th, I believe, once again, is going to be Lacrosse. And if I remember, our April really explodes with coverage. A few in May as well. The nice thing about end of April, my son comes home, so hopefully he'll be able to come in and join for a couple of broadcasts, help out.
That'll be nice.
One of the inaugural group of this, my son and I. It's nice to be able to do that.
Yeah,
two flags out there.
Yeah, I was looking over Sailor Sports Nation's upcoming events, and it's really great how you guys have such a variety of sports that you cover. That's great for the kids and the parents that can't make it to the games.
Absolutely. Yeah, we try to cover everything, but again, we talk about golf, we talk about tennis. Those are, we look across over the visitor bleachers over there. You can see the tennis courts. how do we cover? I mean, who do we focus on? Where do we put the cameras? That kind of stuff when you have multiple matches going all at once. But nevertheless, we're going to take some cues from the coaches. If it's something logistically we can set up, we'll cover it. We'll try to cover it anyway.
I'm sure your producer will be able to figure it out.
Well, if he can't, we'll fire him. We'll fire him and get a new one. Bit of a scrum there behind the Sailors' goal.
Yeah, Christian's trying to get something going here.
At 17, Connor, 1
And
minute
Shores
for cross check.
is a man down, so it's a great opportunity for them to get a goal here.
Yeah,
6:23 left in the fourth quarter, 10-0, looking for the shutout. But there is going to be a lot of pressure coming from the Eagles here. You can almost guarantee that's going to happen. So.
Yeah, Brock just had a nice shot on the goal. Just happened that Parker was able to stop it.
Be interesting to see what the shot count is. Not a ton of shots on goal, even with the possession down in those down on the Sailors' end. There hasn't been a lot of shots.
Yeah, it's definitely one-sided.
Sailors looking to keep that pressure off of their end. Now, is this considered like a half-court zone, if you will, a half-field zone? A lot of pressure right there at the midfield.
They had 3 guys on that, swarming that guy.
Ball gets away.
Shoulders turnover.
5:37 left.
Good ball movement, Christian.
Yeah, really good ball movement. Just wide on that shot. Boy, that was some of the best pressure we've seen from the Eagles.
Yeah.
That was great pressure, and the movement was great.
Logan got a good pass and got a good shot off, just missed it.
Those are the ones, boy, great save by Sailors goalie. Parker, correct?
Yes, Parker Hayward, yep.
So, honestly, you here you are, you're down 10-0, you get an opportunity like that. It just breaks your heart to even see anybody have to go through that skill and movement and not get the goal.
Yeah, get that goose egg off the board.
Yep.
It's just like with anything else, keep shooting. It'll eventually score.
.451 left, counting down. Clock is ticking. 10-0, still Sailors up.
Blake Grieve trying to set something up for Christian.
Nice little body check there. Sailors set back into their stout defense thus far.
Another save by Parker.
Again, Parker out of the goal. Again, one of the other differences, I guess, if you will, the goalies in soccer and hockey don't typically have that kind of contact out with other players.
Nope, when he leaves a goal, he's just like everybody else. One thing to keep or let the viewers know, when the goalie does have the ball in the circle there, he's not allowed to leave the circle and come back in with that ball. That would be a turnover.
Okay. So while we're on this timeout, I got a couple of questions. We're going to stay live here. I see you've got the outside, obviously, for the out of bounds. The next level of lines in from, you see where the Sailors are right now. That next line in that's the length of the field, what is that considered?
Well, the midfield here, that's for your attacks. So when they do the face-off, that's where the attacks have to start. They have to be somewhere on that line, depending on what the coach wants. Who knows where their position to be. And then the lines you see down in the zones, that's for that box.
So they're working inside that inside box.
Yeah, when you want to get a touch, you got to be in that box.
Okay. Now, obviously, you have the goalie circle, and then you have
The other
secondary goalie area, which is marked out.
That's for the girls lacrosse.
Okay, that's only for
the
girls.
way they set everything up, it's a whole different setup. So those lights you're seeing, they're not for the men's game. They're
Okay.
for the girls' game.
And then the arc, the half circle arc all the way around. What is that considered?
I don't know what's considered, but that's how where the girls will line up on that line.
Okay, so both of those are for. The only thing that the boys are concerned about is that circle around the goal itself.
Yep.
Okay. Timeout now over. 4:10 left, fourth quarter. Sailors versus the Grand Rapids Christian Eagles. Up 10-0. Appears as though the Sailors should walk away from here with a win, making them 2-0 on the season so far. Great start. You know, as we mentioned before, not a lot of practice and play prior to the season beginning for the lacrosse team. So these first couple of games really are introducing a lot of, you know, timing and evolution and that kind of stuff. So things are looking well.
Yep, and coach has been able to see with the players how they interact with each other and like with the game speed that they're having. And like you said earlier, if these teams could see each other in Maine, we could see two different types of teams.
Right, yep. .345 left. Grand Rapids looking to put something on the board.
Luke Affman trying to create a lane.
Baker,
like Andrew Baker.
Great pressure on that, individual pressure on that, which honestly, when you are able to put that much pressure individually on somebody, the rest of the team is, I mean, they're taking everything else away from that opposition. So.
Yeah, he was all over Christian's, I think his name's Luke Affman. That was great defense and created the turnover for Foreshores. And
oh, beautiful setup just wide left of the net.
Yeah,
it's a great pass. Honestly, I was surprised that it snuck through there and he was able to maintain control.
Yeah, Paul just didn't get enough behind that to get it past the goalie.
Inside of 3 minutes now here at Sailor Stadium, 10-0. Inaugural broadcast for Sailor Nation Sports Network, and it's a good one. It's 10-0 for your Sailors against the Eagles, opening up with a win. Be the second win for the lacrosse team themselves.
Andrew Grimm down there fighting for possession. Christian able to pick it up and get it to the goalie.
How much is, you know, the play out there, how much stick-to-stick contact is worked into the actual skill and development? Like that you're knocking people's sticks intentionally for certain movements of the ball and trying to knock it out of the basket and everything.
Yeah, you coach him to get him on the hands. Because, again, if you don't get him on the hands or on the shaft, you get
flag on the play.
And Christian's going to get on the board.
Yeah, they are. Okay, I was wondering if that flag was going to be against them or us.
Looks like the goal's going to be Luke Affman for Christian.
So, the Eagles on the board. Goose egg gone, 10-1. 1:47 left here in the fourth quarter. And I don't know if they're discussing a... Well, there wouldn't be a penalty if they scored, right? Because it would negate the penalty, correct?
Yes, correct. Usually, I mean, depending on the penalty, but
just going to say if it was a major of some sort.
Yeah, that'll be picked up.
So timeout Mona Shores with 1:47 left. We're going to take a quick timeout with them, and we'll be right back. And we're back as the timeout is finishing up here for the Sailors. 1:47, I believe, left on the clock right now. They're running some commercial videos up on the screen, so I can't see. So.
Yeah. Coach Greer took a timeout probably to talk to the kids. Let's not get sloppy.
There's a lot of tension up here with the rookie on the scoreboard controls up here. So, but he seems to be working out okay. He may have a job or not. So, Sailors take the face off and bring it quickly down into the zone with
Benedicta Conrad.
Score.
So that's 4 scores for Conrad this afternoon.
Have a job. Let's take a look at that Lake Michigan Insurance Instant Sailors take the face off and bring it quickly down into the zone with
Benedicta Conrad.
Score.
That's quick. So that's 4 scores for.
You love those. Anything, whether it's hockey or it's lacrosse, quick scores off the face off are always fun.
Well, just even the ball movement right there, it doesn't give the defense time to actually set up.
Right. All right, 140. That was quick. 8 seconds and get a score, but that's how fast it can turn in here in lacrosse.
Yeah, Benedict gains possession. Gets his touch.
Inside of a minute and a half here left in the game. Thank everybody for watching our contest here today. Those that are not members of Sailor Nation Sports Network on Facebook, please make sure you do. Also subscribe to our YouTube page. 1 minute and 5 seconds left. If you're interested in what we're going to be covering for the remainder of the season, you can see that schedule.
Kozak is a great steal. Sorry to interrupt.
Nope, no worries. That's worth interrupting for. So, super play by Kozak and a great steal turnover.
Good save by Parker.
Parker with the save. Again, there's been a complete play with the entire team here today. 42 seconds left.
Yeah, Brock Grieve right there was called for interference on our goalie. So Shores will retain possession.
Gotcha. So we talked earlier as we were getting underway about the schedule. We mentioned the Lake Michigan Credit Union Ballpark doubleheader against Granville that we'll be broadcasting live from where the Whitecaps play. That'll be pretty fantastic. After that, April 26th, girls soccer versus Muskegon. May 3rd, girls soccer versus Wyoming. Yep. May 10th, a girls softball doubleheader. We're going to get some girls softball in there. Followed by the 13th of May, we're going to get boys and girls track. Girls lacrosse again on May 14th. May 19th, boys baseball versus Holland. And we finish up our season with girls softball doubleheader versus Wyoming on May 23rd. And going back to our Lake Michigan Credit Union Ballpark game, again, we are looking for some sponsors for that game as well. If you are interested in being a sponsor for that awesome doubleheader, please contact Todd Conrad, athletic director at the high school. Looking for some sponsors, so make sure to get those contacts to him as soon as possible. But with that, we are going to be done here at the Sailors Stadium where the lacrosse varsity team has taken it to the Eagles of Grand Rapids Christian 11-1 the final, and it makes them 2-0 on the season. So as we go forward into this season, Eric, do you think this is a pretty good snapshot of what to expect as they continue to develop and what we're going to see this year?
Oh, absolutely. I think we're, like you said last year, you talked about it was like if it was a surprise, and I said I didn't think it was much surprise. We're just going to keep them continue to improve. We got a really good group of juniors and seniors here. Been playing lacrosse a lot of times, so we're going to see a lot of good lacrosse coming this year for our boys, and hopefully make a good run for the playoffs.
Well, I think that it was a fantastic game. I think that it'll be a good afternoon for both the players and the coaches to be able to celebrate a very hearty win against a very strong Eagles team. And they'll be looking forward to their next matchup, which is also going to be our next broadcast right after spring break on April 12th. So until then, this is Sailor Nation Sports Network. For Kim and Kotis up top, for Mr. Eric Carlson joining us here in the booth, and for the entire crew that can't be here today, we thank you for joining us for this broadcast, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Have a great afternoon.